Yash. So I like this title because we get into it here. Who am I before this concept of my awakening story? You know, I'm not feeling to use those words. Some people requested before I made some video describing my awakening, and I wasn't I wasn't really feeling it. I mean, I made the video. I like Journey a little better, but you notice in that title I put It Never Ends, because it doesn't. And then I think at the end of the video I got bored and just said, okay, we're done. Because it's like, if you talk too much about this awakening, who's that talking? See, awakening means, if we're going to get into it, it means dissolution of this ego mind identity that we've taken ourselves to be for so long. So then, if that's being dissolved, who's going to be left to say about it, I've had my awakening now? It sounds like the same the same one that supposedly was dissolved. It resurrected and it says, I'm awake now. You see, you gotta contemplate that and introspect about that, because what's left after this ego identity has dissolved, and it's you can say never-ending process, can always dissolve a little more, because nothing's static. As long as we're existing, we have a sense of existence, there's always the law of evolution, even on the most subtle plane and level. That's just part of the deal. It's cool though. When the ego and the mind dissolving, what's left doesn't feel to say, I'm awake. Hey everybody, check it. You see my eyes? That's awake. Or I'm exaggerating, but or this was my life before awakening. Let's talk about my life before awakening. Now here's my life after awakening. Well, who are you though? What do you mean? Like, you sounds like you survived the awakening. You somehow got out of the dissolution process, and you're there now to plant the flag post to say I'm awake. So it's just some encouragement to check that a little bit, and see, because one that's really conscious of their formlessness, their formless nature beyond this body, it's not a big thing. I mean, like, of course we're not this body. I was just walking around. Sometimes I'm walking through town or something, and it just looks like we're all wearing this Halloween costume, this monkey suit called the human, human clothes. Everybody thinks these are the clothes. No, the whole body and face is the clothes. Don't they look funny? If you really look at it like that sometimes when you're out and about, and look at your own self in the mirror. Like, isn't it clear? Like, this isn't who we are. If anyone's seen a dead corpse, and if you go to India, it's really easy. I mean, you can just hang out in the cremation grounds all day if you want, in Varanasi, and you see all kinds of corpses. But I noticed this when my dad died when I was 12. That was the only funeral I went to. And when I walked by his casket, he was in there. And I was looking, I'm like, that's not him. I felt that. I was like, what? It was clear he was gone. This father essence, that the role that the consciousness in that form was playing as father, that I was relating to, I was gone. That energy, and it was clear that body was never who he was or who the consciousness is. It's just so clear. I mean, it's just like there's no life in it. I was going to pick a leaf up and say it's like this leaf, but no, this leaf has more. It's more alive than a dead corpse. A dead corpse is like, it's kind of like paper or something. It's just there's no way that this is who we are, So sometimes I'm walking through town and I get in that vibe. The consciousness wants to do that. It wants to it wants to see through all this veil and shell, and it can get trippy, you know. And then watching people talk, relating from the human level of consciousness, really believing this is who they are. You know, oh man, can you believe what happened? You know, the government, they're gonna kill us, and they're, you know, doing brain damage to us, and man, I heard. Did you hear about the you know, I got this secret report, you know, from the people that really know. No, really, did you? Yeah, I can send it to you. And, you know, they're just really into it. But they can be talking about whatever. Talking about how so-and-so did something bad to them, and oh man, I can't believe that I don't trust that person anymore. Yeah, I feel the same way, you know, I don't like him either. I don't know. All right, so who's this? What happened with the spiritual awakening thing? Yeah, careful when you use those words. I mean, just check in with yourself. Who's declaring this spiritual awakening? Because these words have they become misused and overused, like the word God. And I understand why some people feel they're atheists, because a lot of times when we use the word God, it's just it's coming from mind and ego, and people can feel, they can just sense vibration. They're like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't believe in God. You got to experience God in yourself, as yourself, and then have direct insight about that, and then you'll know that there's a power, an underlying power that takes care and sustains everything. We can call that God, or you can call it whatever you want. Like, don't get hung up on the words. So, yeah, that's the thing. The spiritual awakening phrase, I just feel it's used too much. People, they just throw it around. Yeah, you know, once I was awake, after I became awake, yeah, I noticed this and that. I don't know, it's an intimate thing, this awakening. You just kind of don't feel, you share about it sparingly, I feel, if it's an organic, authentic thing that happened. You definitely don't make videos broadcasting it. I mean, it's cool. Consciousness plays on so many levels, you know. But, yeah. And if you have a spiritual experience, no matter how strong, you could just, all of a sudden now I'm sitting here, I don't even see the forms anymore. I could just see everything's just a molecular dance, and I just see the astral forms, and then afterwards, then I come back into regular consciousness. I'm like, I'm awake. I had a major, profound spiritual experience. I'm awake now, or I feel some deep peace and love for everybody and everything, and then I call that an awakening. It's an experience. It doesn't last. If you see the astral colors and auras and everything, you can't. It's not going to be 24/7, you know. And the same with this love and peace. It can change in intensity. So it's a nice experience, but who's going to declare now that I'm awake because I had this experience? When you declare that you're awake, what's watching you declare that you're awake? Is the consciousness or true awareness declaring that? It can't. It's beyond awake. There's only the sleeping consciousness can have some motivation to declare it's awake. It's like I'm in a male body. There's no question about that. As far as duality goes, and we're using labels and concepts, yeah, this is a male body. I don't need to announce that to you or to anybody or even to myself. It's like it is what it is. So the consciousness, and it's not even, the consciousness being consciousness is more solid than me in this male body, because I'm going to fly out of this thing, you know, in, I don't know, a couple of decades or so. So, but the consciousness, always the consciousness. It's always the consciousness. So it doesn't even know, how's it going to say it's awake? It's the human construct housed in duality that's going to say it's awake. So that's the thing. So all the people, they're talking now, I'm non-dual, nothing exists, I had my awakening. That's you're still talking from duality. Otherwise, you wouldn't say those things. Just admit it, you know. And then maybe we can listen to you. Maybe you'll somehow, you know, be more sensible about stuff. Anybody declaring too much that I'm awake now or nothing exists, you got to be speaking from duality to even say that. If nothing really existed, you wouldn't be there to say that nothing exists. Something is existing to say that nothing exists. You see? So just keep, it's a constant refining process of just looking and like who's talking here and what's going on, and am I talking in concepts and whatever. Concepts are cool, but just don't take them serious. If there's identity behind what you're saying, I'm awake, you're not awake. I don't care at all about, if somebody asks me if I'm awake, I say, I don't know, you tell me. I don't think about it. I'm not concerned at all about it. And it's a very nice inner relaxation that takes place because I'm not thinking about it. Like, what difference does it make to who, awake or not awake? Get rid of that word. And you keep this human consciousness, localized consciousness, it keeps just checking in with its source, which is pure consciousness. The localized consciousness is the individualization of the pure consciousness. It's still the pure consciousness, but it's like individualized, seemingly. And so, which is nice, then we can have experience, then we can talk, and we're having fun with each other, This is the game of life, the creativity. Nothing wrong with Maya when we know that it's Maya, But just let that be your practice. You just keep checking in. Like, you keep something's aware that the pure consciousness that doesn't say anything is talking through this localized consciousness. Yeah, let me know how that works for you. Does it land? Did I shake anybody up, or do you like it? See, if one's too attached to ego and identified with ego, you won't like it. Who is he to say I'm not awake? I'm awake. You're not awake. Start fighting, having wars over who's more awake. I'm sure that'll happen. All right, see you.